All right, Helen, we're over here at the Edge.
Yeah.
So, first of all, you're moving here, or you moved here?
Yeah, I moved here.
What was the decision behind that?
Well, I just training for 2020. So Valentine talked to me actually the night of Olympics, and he said, you know, there might be this new RTC opening up. I'm going to take the coaching job. Would you move? You know, is that something? And I'm like, Coach, I'll go wherever you go. So you go to New York, I'll set up roots there. And if you go to California, I'll set up roots there.
Blind faith.
Yeah. So, well, I've moved every year for the past 7 years. So different situation than the guys. Like, I didn't go to school somewhere for 4 years where I could stay.
Right.
So I love this. So.
Awesome. Okay. Let's talk the upcoming weeks. Are you going to wrestle at the U.S. Open? Do you know yet?
Yeah, because that's our trials. And so it's not the Open, it's our trials.
That's the women's trials. What weight class?
58 kilos.
58 kilos. You say that with a big smile.
Yeah, because it's I was like, yay, I'm going up, I don't have to cut. And then I lived in Norway the past 3 months with my boyfriend, and then I was like, actually I do have to cut. All I've been doing is eating. But then now with like 2-3 weeks of training, my weight's finally stabilized, so now I don't have to cut, so I'm smiling.
Awesome. Let's talk about this camp a little bit. There's an international flair, and what's it like training with, whether it's Chamizo or the Russians or just foreigners, I guess, with the feel?
I don't know if you can compare Chamizo. His speed is like on another level, but yeah, I love training with the foreigners. So different style, and I think that, I mean, American college men's style is definitely different from foreign freestyle, foreign men freestyle style. So I think sometimes training with like the Russians, they use their strength a little differently, so it can kind of reflect what I would feel from maybe wrestling some foreign females. So it's I really like the feel for myself, and yeah, I mean, anytime you can get your hands on people with different feels, different styles, it's great because you're, you know, exposing yourself to that.
Cool. I want to talk about the Helen doc that just came out. And just to clarify, so explain to me your journal and when you started writing and what you wrote when.
Okay, so the first, like, what, 20 seconds of the clip where I am talking about how, you know, I have to win and all this stuff, that was actually what I wrote in my journal when I was 13. And as you remember, because you filmed at my house, I was comparing my 13-year-old journal with my journal from 2016. So that's like a 10, 12-year difference. And I just wanted to highlight that when I was only training with boys, when I was still in this space of kind of resistance, or, you know, a lot of things hadn't happened yet in my life, I focused more on some of the resistance I got and some of the negativity and lack of support, or, you know, whatever. And it was really interesting. The reason I read that is because in my 2016 journal, I faced just as many challenges, I just never dwelled on them. And so I kind of wanted to highlight that I used 2016 as a year to trust God. So anytime things went wrong, when I couldn't make weight for the Pan Ams, when I had an extra match at the Olympics, or when I got injured 4 days before the Olympics, it was just this total trust in God that I don't know how it's going to happen, and you didn't tell me how it is, but I trust that it can still happen. So I'm not trying to look for the road, I'm just trusting with faith. And I think 13-year-old Helen would have been like pissed off or this or that. So I eventually read it to show, you know, when I was 13, wrestling was my idol, it was everything, and that just wasn't a healthy place for me personally to be, and everyone has to find their own journey and their own way to do it. So, and I also wanted to show, sorry I'm rambling again.
No, go ahead, you're fine.
I did want to show that, because I think one of the things that I did when I was younger, I looked to all these people that were my idols and my wrestling heroes, and you see someone when, you know, it's, my favorite quote is, don't compare your behind the scenes to someone else's highlight reel, which is a Stephen Furtick quote. And so you're looking at me and you're seeing my Olympic win, which was the highlight of my wrestling, but you don't see the struggle, you don't see the times where I messed up, you don't hear my fears in my head or anything like that. And I would look to these people and I'm like, how are they so tough? How are they so resilient? How are they so strong? I don't have those qualities. But actually, I was that 13-year-old girl, and it took me a lot of time to develop. And so you're not born a champion, and you just work to develop those skills, and part of it is just not giving up on yourself and staying the course. It took me 17 years to win. So if you're 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, whatever, you're not at the end of your journey. This doesn't need to be your peak, so just keep working on those things, and when you're 20 or 22, you look back and be like, oh, I'm not the same person anymore. Oh, it took me 5 years to you know, finally not get so focused on comparing myself to others, but hey, at least you got to that place where you're better at it. So that's what I wanted to highlight.
Cool.
That was my ramble.
Hey, I love your rambles. What did you think? Did you get to see it?
Yeah, it's, oh my gosh, it's crazy to see what I wrestled like when I was younger. It's crazy. And my hairnet, and my short hair, but yeah, it's, I learned a lot in the process of watching it. Like, I need to be better at speaking.
I think you did a great job.
Thanks.
I did too.
We're always most self-critical. And,
yes, absolutely.
Yeah,
a lot of good feedback, so appreciate you working with us to do it, and we'll see you out.
You guys do the editing, so you guys make it look good, so.
We do our best. Thanks.
Thanks.
We'll see you in Vegas. Best of luck.
See ya.
Bye.